Alright, welcome back to another Plane Explain. Let me fix my webcam for you guys. I looked a little psychotic there. Um, Running 5 tables. We have no 2K, right? I know you guys want to see 2K. Let me see if there's like, maybe I'll play a 2K on ACR. I balance on Need to re-depot. We've been running it up on ACR though. I haven't been playing much though, obviously. Because if I was playing, I'd be uploading videos. But I've been dealing with a lot of, not a lot of, but maybe a lot of IRL stuff. So, yeah, but should be back to posting a lot. And yeah, because I genuinely like posting a lot. But if I was playing, I'd be posting. I'm gonna be 4-betting here on the bottom. And let me see if I can get an ACR 2K going for you guys. Oh, there is one. So we're gonna need to get global 2K because I know you guys want to see that. So which table should I leave? I guess I'll leave the 500, even though of course it's the table I'm winning on, or have been like this session. So here you could go half pot. The Conga Diamonds is a little odd. It's kind of okay though to have the extra equity. I'd say the worst card here is probably a spade. Not having a spade is okay because the diamond you have the benefit of having the backdoor flush draw, even though you block calling range, and then but the spade you don't when you have an offsuit hand, right? Like when I have an offsuit hand, I can't hit a backdoor flush draw, but I can block the calling range. Obviously, when you have a diamond in the front door, you're going to block the calling range, but you have the benefit. I'm gonna remove a table here for you guys, so my webcam doesn't block it. That's why I said I had to remove this. So don't worry about that. But yeah, when you have the backdoor suit, like here, if he has diamonds, obviously it doesn't matter. I'm just gonna not continue here because the odds to improve are not that good. A lot of reverse implied odds. Like honestly, a pocket pair. Well, obviously a pocket pair is probably better. Yeah. Diamonds, just even like random diamond hands. Alright, here when we 3-bet this deep, we're going to be calling it. And we flop a pretty exciting hand, not gonna lie. I'm trying to think, I don't really know the spot, but I imagine not too much raising on this board. We have aces, obviously, sometimes probably. Sometimes probably. But yeah, when he checks here, and this hand just doesn't like playing a 2-street game. We want to see all 3 cards. And for that reason, I think we're going to check it back. It's pretty easy to find bluffs here. It's not like all our bluffs have to be high equity. No BFD here. That's probably okay, because we're going to get called more 2 streets from like Queen X and stuff like this. Queen X suited, King X suited, that's worse. So we call turn, and if he just checks here, I think it's just all in. Not having a spade. I just bet here because I just think, like, I don't know. It's kind of hard to have bluffs. But it's what it is. I'm expecting to get space of it here. Nice hand. I think people get a little too cute here. He's not supposed to check a lot on 5-4-4. He really isn't. But I think people get a little too cute. So they bet. I meant they check. Expecting me to reopen a lot, just to whatever. And I'm just not going to give them the benefit of the doubt. I'm going to check back a good amount. Because I think people really tell their hands on the turn. They don't love the delayed bluffs and stuff. I mean, sometimes you can get more action. I think checking back there makes a good amount of money. So this guy just folds. I wonder what he folded. Probably was like something pretty good, but it's hard to have bluffs. So fair enough for him folding. Just not having an ace there. I'm just gonna bet it. You know, a lot of people just call ace jack ace 10 there. Pure, even though it's hard for me to have bluffs, and I don't blame him for folding. But yeah. And also people like to get a little tricky with their value, so when you play it straight up, sometimes people level themselves. Yeah. Not having a diamond. The queen of diamonds here. Or I guess we don't, yeah, like not even having, always. Here, 3-bet, I mean, on a 10, I don't think it's pure, so we'll just let it go, I guess. Got some pretty sticky players, I think, these two, so it probably hurts my EV. Do you think at this point you get like undershoved on? As you should. Maybe you don't actually. Maybe you don't even get undershoved on. Because I think you're probably, this guy's in a tough spot, and he's probably supposed to be nittier than he will be. Like, if he's just jamming ace, king, queen, and queen's pure because he doesn't want to fold them, I mean, maybe he's shoving too much. I don't know. I'm not super familiar with my preflop's gotten rusty because the longer you don't look at stuff, because you focus more on the interesting, cool stuff, the stuff that you. Sometimes it's pretty annoying to go back and review, if that makes sense. Like, at one point you knew things. You don't love going back and just looking at them. But, here, not gonna reopen like perfectly sure, and I rolled a 5, so I'll just check. This isn't the greatest card. King of Diamonds is pretty chill. Okay, we'll check on a 13. I don't know. I just don't know what his calling range looks like on this card. And I'm probably just going to fold river. I mean, I don't really know what his bluffs are going to be. He could turn pairs into a bluff, but it's like got to be 6-5, which I think he'll bluff. But I think we just have better calls here, to be honest. This could just be like 2 pair, to be honest. I could totally see it. I'm just going to fold, and he's going to show if he's bluffing me here for sure. Okay. You just gotta be willing to get bluffed in poker. I mean, a lot of people would be like, okay, is this too thin? Probably not. No, probably not. I mean, like, if he shoves here, I think it's just pocket 9s. To be honest, I'm a reroll. I just don't think anyone double checks, and I don't think he bluffs expecting, in a spot where, like, I could get really tricky. You know what I'm saying? I think risk knows I could get really tricky here. I could check back ace, king of clubs, and then just, like, block and, like, play really weird. So I don't think it's a spot where he's going to assume I'm giga capped. And I just don't think we have the greatest bluff catcher here. I just don't really get what he has. I'm going to be real. But I don't think he has any natural bluffs. Like, I think, yeah, I know what his bluffs would be. But I think this is going to be a spot where you're pretty emotional instead of calculated. By that I mean, like, he's going to exploit me in this spot. I don't think. Like, if he has pocket 8s here with a club, I don't think he's going to be thinking, I rolled this number. I just don't think this is a great spot. And it's not like we have a great hand, too. I mean, his value, obviously, pocket 9s. He could... I don't really believe a lot of the stuff. But at the same time, I don't really believe the bluffing line either. I'm leaning more and more towards a call the more I think. But I still think I got to stick with my initial plan, which is to fold. I'm thinking, okay, maybe he just thinks my line is clearly the hand I had. Because I guess I did rep it pretty hard, but... Blocks river here. I don't love it. I mean, 10 of clubs is alright. I'll fold. I think if you raise there, you just R50. Performs alright. I mean, you just gotta keep them honest. But it's hard to really R50 because a lot of your ace-X there, it's like, do you really just love raising all of it? I mean, you're kind of welcoming your opponents to start 3-betting you pretty aggressively. And like, how believable is the flush in that line? How believable is a boat in that line? So, because it's a spot I didn't think I'm going to be raising a lot of my ace-X aggressively, I don't think... I'm not repping a boat when I raise, but what I'm trying to say is I'm repping ace-jack, ace-10, stuff like that when I raise, like ace-X that plays, ace-queen, ace-king that checks twice. But how often are those gonna raise 100% pure now on the river when a straight gets there, a flush gets there, and like there's trips, and we've capped ourselves on the turn? Like, what I'm trying to say here is if he has a flush and I'm doing that, there's no reason for him to ever size up now in theory, right? You could just always block bet these hands, and if I raised, he could raise over me. And I just would be pure bluff catching. So it's like basically not that worth to reopen the action thin with a bunch of my ace-X as often. So bluffing it is also less appealing because the less value bets you have, the less bluffs you're going to have, which is important to remember. So there I was thinking about what most of my value hands would do. Thought my candidate was okay because I think he's not blocking a king, meaning I'm not going to be in his folding range, and the 10 of clubs is going to block more value than bluffs. I mean, he like might have some jack 10, 10 of clubs blocks there, but queen 10, but I don't even know if that's really the type of hands he should be using. Not to mention, I do think he's under bluffing in the spot. So, personally, call was obviously fine. I think call was fine, but like I said, I think he's probably under bluffing. That's my read. So I went with the fold. But in hindsight, I don't mind if I just mix call. Alright, I'm gonna see with this. King deuce. I don't think this is like a spot where the king X is now too strong. Yeah. I don't think we're gonna be raising too much king X on the flop here. Probably just a good call candidate. I don't think he's gonna fold the suited spade hand, so it's not really worth consideration. Like, oh, we keep more spades in, because I think even if he has 9-7 of spades here, he's going to continue. Even if he has 5-4 of spades here, he's going to continue versus a raise. So that's not really the problem. The thing I'm talking about though is I think he might a-fold king X that is better than us. So when a king comes, I think we benefit from him having more trash than we do raising this hand for some increased equity. And I think here, I don't even know, double bad suit. With the kings, I think with the higher cards we'll bet more because you don't mind getting floated more often. With the lower cards, you actually kind of benefit more from the equity denial, so you might prefer the blockers, like queens and jacks. Queens is going to get bluffed on more runouts than kings will, so you don't mind your opponent folding ace queen of whatever the card is, because that might turn into a bluff actually on some runouts, right? Yeah. On a king, right? Pretty simple. Alright, here on the turn, and I just think this guy, I'm not gonna assume this guy's nitty. Like this obviously could go in the shove category. I'm just gonna like half ball it though. And here I'm just gonna check. I actually don't know how the pot's this big. I'm so autopilot. I'm playing too many hands at once or something. And here obviously like sometimes they got pocket tens, but is what it is. On a 13, do we ever get like Giga Q? I don't think this hand will. I mean, I could see it though, like exploitatively. Let's just do the normal thing. Okay, good. Good job, me. Y'all would have ripped me in the comment section. I'm just gonna fold here. I was about to say I like calling, but I don't have enough time to think about it. I think he could like easily like make a cheeky block bet with a king jack and queen jack there. Ace 8, stuff like this, and I think we probably have to call. I don't know how the pot got that big, like I said. So what happened? I 3-bet, or did I 4-bet? Like what happened? No, raise call. Oh, he raised me on the flop and then went check check, and then he blocked. Okay, yeah, never mind. I'm giga tossing there, because yeah, I probably should fold flop in my opinion, but. The reason I would never call there is I just don't think that's the bluff size he's going to pick. I think if he takes a bluff in that line, I don't think he's going to expect me to fold. Okay, on an 8, I'm just going to call because I'm trying to have fun. I'm such a troll. But, I'm kidding. I mean, it's a fine call. It's a mix, and I'm calling it pure because I'm a little degen. Y'all can rip me if you want. I know it's not a call, pure. Oh, he's over defending. Maybe. I mean... Definitely. Okay, here, half pot size up. I mean, do we raise more or less with the 5 of spades? It's obviously like the Easter egg hand. It's the only hand that's going to block anything. Or affect anything. And I imagine... He's just not folding ace 5 regardless, or 5-6 regardless. So I doubt we want him to have more equity when he calls. So I'm just going to call here. Honestly, on the brick here, this is a spot where he's going to have a lot of overs. You could lead. But I'm just going to check. I think in theory you could lead, but I just don't think it's going to make more money with this hand in this moment. Though in theory I think it is a fine lead. And the idea is, even though we don't exactly improve on the deuce, I mean, wow. Just going to block river. Or we just all in, one of the two. I'll just block. I just think here almost my entire strategy is going to be block, because we're just... I mean, you could go more thin. But I guess I'll just hope he whales out. But I don't think he will. He snap calls ace king. Good hand. Yeah. I wish I shoved. I know you watch the videos, Jacob, so I'm not gonna tell you any exploits on you. That'd be this deep, eh? I think we called this deep. I mean, you could get away with the shove, but we're gonna flat it, and we're gonna miss the board. I don't mind, like, maybe folding, but this guy is not nitty. If anything, I think he might be doing it a little too much. So, not going to, the check here is interesting. I think if he checks something back on the flop, it's going to be my hand. Not going to lie. So, that's a bad reason to bet. I think I'd rather have diamonds and spades here. Hearts is going to, was trash on the flop, so it stays trash on the turn. It's like kind of the logic here, and I should have bluffed here. I'm just making a YouTube video, so my bad. All right. The focus is changed, and oh, you're gonna win it, Jorge. You're gonna win it. Good job. Ace king. Good job. It's probably a fine bluff on the river. I'm not gonna cap. I probably should have. I got a little too cute, maybe with the hearts logic, and I should be thinking more in practice. But yeah, if you, I would recommend maybe just bluffing that spot in your guys' pool, and even all-in sizing. Even if they think you're a little scuffed, they still gotta call you with ace king all-in, and that's usually a good spot to be in, unless you know the guy's a station. But I'm saying just the average player is not gonna flick in that call, and if they do, you kind of just tag them that they're the type of guy that likes to call that spot, and then you just start going all in really thin. Very few people are just like giga balanced with their calls, because they honestly probably shouldn't be if they're playing your like a lower stake. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, like people they don't really study defense that much, because defense is so exploitative, right? I mean, I can study how to bluff perfectly, but studying how to call perfectly in certain spots, I have to be giving credit to my opponent that he's going to play it perfectly, which I think a lot of people don't find very practical, because it's usually not very practical. But the fact of the matter is, I mean, you still, as you go higher up in stakes, you probably should still be studying that stuff. So I'm recording 17 minutes, and I wonder what has happened. I'm trying to get a video out because I got to catch a train at 3:30. I'm too busy. I just want to sit down and play poker, but it is what it is. I'm assuming this deep we could get in there, but I'm just gonna call because I think I'll just play in position. Also, I rolled a 13. It's definitely not some pure thing. All right, how often do we want to be raising here? I'm assuming we have some ace-x. Sorry, I'm trying to get the camera to focus, but I don't think it's going to. And on a 13 again, is this thing not working? Like, oh, what? I was not trying to fold that. It looked like I was, because I obviously did. And here the reopen's going to be strong. It's probably just like over bet, honestly. We have two hearts. The line looks so bluffy, right? But I just think we're so polar here. 2 and 8. Like, yeah, we're going to get some credit for jacks, 10s, and 9s. But we're deeper here. I think we want to build our betting range around the 8. And honestly, we can overbet jacks there, too. I mean, it's not the worst thing to ever happen, right? It's like, if he's only calling queens, kings, and aces, he's got to be checking a lot of kings, queens, which I think he might be, but it's not like the worst thing ever. So we check twice here and then he blocks. I think there's a good chance he doesn't have a 4. And we can... I don't think we want to call 4 twice. My line, like, I'm just going to overbet here, even though it's like kind of troll. It's just like, I think... Yeah. I just had a feeling he was going to be like, oh, I don't believe him. Obviously, in theory, his reopening range on the turn there, how much, like, is it actually the size? Because, like, he actually probably can defend enough 4s, like, given how, like, tight his reopening range is on the turn for that side, for how small his size was. But, yeah. not enough for, like, he obviously might have to call sixes and stuff, but like you'd rather put him in a spot where they have to call more often, right? It's not always just like, yeah. The ranges were pretty equal. It's like when he bets on the turn. Okay, and this is just like, what is he repping? I just don't know. I mean, I could think about calling. I don't love my. I mean, the 10 of spades, the 10 of hearts is fine. It's just such an odd spot. I'm just gonna fold it. Be nice if my webcam worked. With the heart and the back doors, I guess I'll call. I was leaning like insta fold, not gonna lie, but I think with the heart and the fact that we can hit a straight draw on a 4 or a 7 or a 9, like on a like, and this could bluff sometimes. I don't mind it actually. We have outs versus a queen, which is kind of nice. And I probably just give up. Kind of wailing. I'll probably just check this again. And yeah, with not the greatest blockers, we'll just check. And he probably just has like 10s, I guess. Nice hand. It's like no draws got there, right? So I don't love it on the river. Definitely just gonna call here, even though it's not like the craziest spot. I guess I'll call here as well. Yeah, the pocket 5's hand I don't mind. It's probably like very low frequency, but it's just like something to have it as a bluff on a heart in the delayed line. I thought maybe he's yapping a little with this size. And obviously having outs against the queen is nice for a bluff, right? So if you're going to pick a non-flush draw hand, a non-straight draw hand, I mean, a pocket pair is a pretty good bet. So, yeah. But the reopen there, I would say, in general, is probably not too overfolded, because people don't have enough air when they reopen. Honest 95, I'll call this hand. You know, I've been calling them all video, which I'm probably going to get flamed in the comments for, but I'm trying to have fun. I don't play enough. I haven't been on enough, and God, this is an awkward spot, eh? I guess I just call on the flop. I could see folding multi-way, and I think I'm just gonna jam this. We got a flush draw. I don't see how we can justifiably fold a pair here. So. And I don't mind jamming even if he has a flush draw, because I don't think he's supposed to jam his flush draws on the river. I meant like his missed flush draws, you know? If, like, let's say here, for example, he has queen jack of spades. I'll let the hand play out, but okay, let's say he has queen jack of spades here, right? And you know it. He's not gonna bluff it ever on the river. You might as well just jam and get rid of the hand, you know? Like, because that's a winning equity now, because that hand will never bluff river if it doesn't get there, you know? I mean, maybe on an ace he'll bluff it, right? But you know, it's not like a leading bluff candidate. And obviously I'm just going to range bet here. I mean, I need to charge sets that want to call and stuff. He's never supposed to have a flush, really. He has some low connectors, but it is what it is. I think it's like clearly like the board shifts in my favor. And I'm just going to shove for value here. I don't think there's a point. I mean, I might even free roll him off a jack. Let's be real. So, yeah. It's like, I don't know what he would think I bluff, but you never know. I don't know what I would bluff here. Okay, yeah, see. We get the back. Like, he knows he's capped, so I therefore should bluff enough. But that's, which is fine. Like, I probably would bluff everything that's not and kind of be pretty tilted when he called. Because that's a spot I would probably turn a lot of hands into a bluff. Like, queen 10's obviously pretty easy to turn into a bluff there. But, like I said, in your guys' pool, I would not call there simply for the reason of just, I'm going to have a lot of value, so I need to be smart enough to turn a lot of hands. I'm not calling pocket nines on the flop, right? So I need to have the presence of mind to just understand that I need to turn a lot of hands into a bluff there, and a lot of guys in your pool just won't, right? So the downside is, like, it's really easy to get under bluff there, and it's a spot where it's almost impossible for me to over bluff, if that makes sense. It's very hard for me to over bluff. I need to turn a lot of hands into a bluff. I need to be creative. I'm supposed to. You know, I'm supposed to be creative there, right? So if I'm not being creative. Here, like, what is this? I'm in the big and I check twice and he just like does this whack. I mean, I don't know. This guy just plays so weird. I'm just gonna fold, even though like I don't like necessarily think it's like the worst call. It's just like he bet 2x paw it, and I am not gonna like giga attack the queen. You know, I'm not going to like I'm going to defend my checking range. Like if I might even overcheck. Like if it goes check on the flop and I have pocket fours and a queen, I might just be like, oh, he's gonna reopen on the queen, right? He picks up a lot of new draws, so it's not like a spot where I'm like, oh, I just admitted I am nothing. He's gonna 2x paw and attack me, and I have to defend thin. Like, I think it's a spot where I'm going to have a lot of calls. So it's not, like, I need to start just calling everything. Like, obviously, his size is not, in theory, the greatest versus a GTR range. I understand why he could think it's great there, you know? And for some players, it will be, because some players are going to be reopen too much and might not defend properly. And then even if they defend, they might not defend the river enough, etc. Or what I think his exploit was there, I'm going to call too thin, to be honest. So, we didn't. Good job, us. Like, I think if he has this like ace queen, he's like, oh, I'll just over it, and he'll just call bottom pair. Which, to be fair, a lot of players will. That's another. You see, but the thing is, I'll give him credit because I really don't know. His exploit could be either way, and I don't know. So I'm just gonna do what I think is fine, which is fold my hand. Because sometimes it's like, yeah, like I could say, oh, it's bad, but I literally just said. Either way, it could be an exploit in either direction, you know. So it's not. So then you just gotta go back to the baseline and just think, in theory, what's gonna not lose you the most money. Which there, I think calling would lose me more because I'm gonna have enough defense. I hope I made sense there. Okay, I'm gonna call here. Oh, versus the block. I mean, I got a jack. That's his like the range he's repping, kind of. Not really. I mean, he's repping 2 pairs. What I meant, but. Fine. I should probably bet here. God, I'm playing horrible. TBH, but probably record for 35 minutes. I hope I still explain some stuff. I'm gonna be trying to upload really consistently. I mean, we're telling an okay story here when we bet river. We don't have any jack or 10. That's great. King's pretty meh. It's pretty decent. It's not like we're gonna have the perfect unblocker here. And it's believable to check a lot of queens on the turn here when the flush comes in. So 7 of spades, not really blocking any folds. Then he makes 8-9. I mean, he's probably supposed to call that, and I'm probably supposed to bluff that. So how can I beat that man? I keep opening this stuff. Okay, wow. So we block 8. Which is the river check back range. It could block. I'll block. He might be more likely to turn 1 club hands into a bluff here if I block than if I check. And also I think it's a fine block because I think he might hit the 9 a good amount. Perfect. Just what I needed. Do I wait till my time bank goes? I have 3 seconds. And like obviously it's easy to find bluffs here. I mean, you could assume what a bluff would be. Just like ace 8 off, ace of clubs, or ace 9 off, ace of clubs. But that's really hard to have, so maybe it's not as easy as I just said it was, but obviously it doesn't have to be an ace, to be honest. It really doesn't. But he folds. Good job. Maybe if I took longer, the reason why I was saying taking longer would be alright, because I'm just gonna B75 here, just because like, I don't think he has a pair, and I think he could hero call A6. The reason why taking long might be good is you might think that I wouldn't risk time like going close to folding with a small time bank with a value hand. All right. Okay, we call pocket fives like what 4 times today versus a 3-bet, and then we bang. That's the strategy. You never give up. Okay. I don't love raises here. I don't think it's... His range is so, like, polar, kind of. That... Like, the reason you raise... It's fine, but... You don't have to play raises, I think. Okay, what do we think about the non-reopen here? Ace-5 of diamonds might be in that range. I'll just bet small. Whatever. You could easily have jacks and tens that's played. And he could easily be trapping on a double flush draw. I expect him probably to bet on the double flush draw, but... is what it is. Like, the reason I was considering checking back is I feel like sometimes I overbet here. Not overbet, but I bet too much. There you go. Overbet or check. Eight of spades. Honestly, eight of spades is kind of like, it loses less, it makes less EV from checking because my opponent's going to have more backdoor flush draws he's going to turn. So, out of the jack 8 hands, this probably is a little better. I'm on a 74. We'll just do something cute here. I would assume it's like probably pretty much a pure check, but I rolled the 74. And I have like the extra EV of having the backdoor straight and shit. So I don't mind just putting some dog shit jack X in just to hit the frequency. Because it can't just be ace jack. Otherwise people can just start calling pocket fives and shit. Or not pocket fives, but like, you know what I'm saying. It's okay to have some mid jack X in there. It's not what you're building the range around though. But it's just like, just to have some jack X. But that hand might not be in that scenario, you know. I just know that the heuristics of my blockers are gonna make it more likely. Because it's gonna make less than checking than the other jack 8 offsuits combos. If that makes sense. And this guy's gonna definitely call me here, because, come on, man. What, I'm just going thin with an 8? You don't believe that. That means I only have a set. Like, come on. I only have a set, and I could be bluffing so much stuff. Just call ace king. Is he really jamming jacks here? No way. Sorry, I'm just trying to, like, manifest. God damn it. Probably a call. I mean, how could it be a fold? But is it a raise? I mean, it's kind of a dog shit. I'm just gonna raise because it's just so bad as a whatever. I don't love call, but I don't love raise. But I was just trying to figure out which one I love less, and I was like, you know what? I guess I'll go raise, even though I might be dominated sometimes. But whatever. And he calls, and I think I just check. I mean, he's gonna have like 6-5 and shit, so our hand's kind of garbage now. Watch raise again. Just gonna give up here. Nice hand. I don't know how I got into the spot. Did I like call flop? Like, am I just playing too much heads up? I mean, is it the worst call? My plan was to just give up like every river, by the way. So, yeah. If I'm gonna have a 5, I don't want the 5 of spades. I'll bluff my. I mean, 5-3 got there, right? So maybe I could consider it a little more. But I think my opponent just has a jack. I'm gonna keep it a buck. So. Has a jack too often. And I don't talk in absolutes. But this is not the best session I played, but I think I explained a couple good points. So I don't think it's my best session play, but I think my video is okay. I wish I could figure out the audio because I know what you guys are talking about, like the background. And I see a lot of good comments. The issue is I'm always recording in a rush because I'm like, dude, I haven't got a video out. I got something to do. If I don't get a video out now, I can't upload for a week. So I upload it. But yeah, I was going through my Streamlabs today because I record on Streamlabs. Maybe that's something I shouldn't be doing. And yeah, I just couldn't figure out where I know what it's taught. It's the noise suppression thing, like the amount of volume it has to be for it to actually pick up. And I just couldn't find where it was. So that was kind of frustrating, but I figured I'd record. And I'm gonna range bet here on the Kong. You could actually range bet half pot, probably. And he comes in with the best reg play of all time. All right. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope the video was manageable. I hope you guys learned some things. And yeah, stay tuned. I'm gonna be posting more videos. I have some plans for other types of content, that I'm looking forward to trying out. Once I get on my grind, I'll be able to do them pretty easily. Um, yeah, but thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. All right, on to the review for the hand. I chose to do the 5-5 hand. I was debating doing the mono board, but that was such an exploitative spot. I could actually check it out quick. Maybe we'll do that right now. Um, so yeah, here. Anyway, opponent, I think I node locked it to. I didn't node lock it to range. It just chose range. And here with fives, not loving it. So I did make a mistake, but we can check at the 5 of diamonds hands, or I can node lock it. What is the better option here? Let's node lock it. If you're curious about the tool I use, let's just give it this and 25 for what, fives with the heart, right? Am I missing the board? I think it's fives with the heart. So yeah, okay. So let's give me like a little bit of credit. I lost 5 big blinds in a 3-bit pot. It's not the end of the world, guys. Calm down. But okay, we call turn queen of diamonds, and we'll look at some similar types of hands with the better bluffs are. Opponent, he went with B75. I don't want to change my entire size to B50 here. I'm gonna give him a split size, because I do think that maybe like his half pot here is maybe a little bit of a tell. I don't know if he's one sizing this board just exploitatively. He doesn't really bet these hands, and he doesn't really like this size. But I'm gonna peep at the size for a second and see what's up, because the size matters, and it does raise a little bit. Obviously, you prefer the diamond, but it is one of the candidates that does like raising. Just these lower pairs. Obviously, the 5 might block a little bit more folds because you have this. So I think actually going pocket threes is better, but I don't think I would call threes on the flop as much as the sim did. So I chose to go fives, and yeah, I picked the right size to raise. At least pretty much I R50'd. And then, or did I R33? Am I that bad? And then on the river here, yeah, it actually has showdown. You can see the checking EV because your opponent is actually going to call some stuff that actually does check back here. And that was kind of my thought process here, because you're going to have this, and you're going to beat this, right? Your opponent might check these hands. So you're basically turning this bluff fives into a bluff on boards where those hands lose their showdown value completely, which would probably be this card, because I think now your opponent's going to bluff ace 10 of diamonds and jack 10 of diamonds pure. It still actually does have checking EV, which is interesting. So I guess he's not bluffing them pure, but it still likes bluffing, because the bluffing EV actually finally surpasses the checking EV, whereas before it was making 9 big blinds for jamming, and it was making like around 11 for checking. Now it's making like 13 for each. So yeah, which is that's a lot of, when you're deciding a hand in poker, the reason you don't really bluff showdown very much in poker is bluffs usually don't make that much money. Like if you run a normal hand, I'll load this up while I explain this, because we're gonna do it in one section. I could run a UTG under the gun, but yeah, let's do it this. There's a link in the description for 10% off. I might be revealing too much about my studying stuff. This should be fine though. I hope it loads well. Okay, we got one size. I got my preferred sizes here for 3-bit pots. You guys can copy them if you want. I don't think I changed anything. I literally think I failed. Let's just revamp from UTG hijack. It's cutoff versus hijack. It changes some heuristics, but won't change that much. I already looked at it a little. Yeah, it does change much, because before the queen of clubs like betting more, now it bets less. Your opponent's gonna have a tighter range, I guess, and that's what affects that. But let's just look at stuff. Turn was 4 diamonds. Thank God I remembered that. And river was, what was the river? Can I skim through this and find that? God, I was hoping I would remember it, and I didn't. River was a 9. Oh, it's bugging. God damn it. I only have been recording this part because can't let it go too long. Check. Four diamonds. I'm only recording 5 minutes. God, I waste way more time usually than doing that, so I don't mind that. Four diamonds. Check, check. Opponent reopening. He is supposed to reopen a good amount here. How much of that is flushes? Checking half his flushes. Preferred checks or king jack. Obviously he's mirroring my range in the spot. So, because a lot of his betting range on the turn is going to be highly dependent on what he perceives my checking range to be. So that reopen is going to be pretty sensitive. And on the river here, yeah, he's jamming some flushes. He actually likes queen jack as its bluffs. I guess it's like the most amount of unblockers or something. He checks. Oh, I don't check turn. What am I talking about? I bet the turn. I'm pretty sure I chose this size as well. Or I might have gone smaller. I think I went small. I think I went B33, but we'll go half pot here. And it might just give me half pot on the river, so I'll just like do the half and half thing. We'll look at B75 first. But actually, we'll look at half because I only B75ing with the club. And when he jams, what is he supposed to be jamming as a bluff here? It's like, yeah, he needs to find pocket sixes. He doesn't even have eights displayed. Yeah, pocket sixes basically is his only bluff. So this is one spot where it's actually like pretty easy to overbluff, which is why I was like tanking calling, because your opponent's only bluff in this entire spot. Like we're looking at all this value, and your opponent's only bluff is like sixes at a frequency. Like if he did it pure, he'd be overbluffing. You know what I mean? So in hindsight, it's probably an okay call, just because. Yeah, obviously my hand would be losing 30 big, so he'd be sitting here if he had ace jack of clubs, and we'd be calling myself an idiot. I thought he wasn't going to bluff this spot too often, and so I don't mind it. But yeah, it's important to note spots where your opponent doesn't need to have a lot of bluffs to and it doesn't really play his value that way pretty often. So those spots he might be trying to exploit you by bluffing you, and you could probably flick in the call because it's hard for it to be super losing. I mean, obviously this would be losing 30 bigs, but we saw the range he had. Here, we're basically just calling flushes and straights because, I mean, the only unblockers is sixes, so if he hits the frequency, you should be losing a lot. I think also the amount he bluffs is built into the fact that he knows you're going to have a good amount of bluff catchers, because a lot of your bluff catchers will block a lot of his value, so the solver accounts for that. Yeah. Because otherwise you're just going to get called too much. I mean, if you're bluffing this because you have this much value, but all of his bluff catchers, like, I don't know, it gets kind of complicated. But anyway, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.